Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. We are here. It is finally upon us. The 2024-2025 NFL season is here. It is week 1, so we are back with my weekly NFL predictions. My goal is to post every single Wednesday so we can get all the updates before the Thursday night football game. So if you enjoy the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And with that being said, let's get to Thursday night football. So our first game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think there's a better game that the year could start with, in my opinion. This is going to be tremendous. So for the Ravens, I have a lot of questions. What does Derrick Henry have left? I know the Titans, when he was on the Titans, he was thriving. He was playing very well, and he was carrying them for a majority of that. I don't think he'll have to carry as hard here in Baltimore, but what does he have left? I'm very concerned about that. Does Lamar Jackson have a Chiefs problem? I think he might consider the Chiefs a rival, and I think it is definitely a rivalry, but can he beat them? And if so, will we see it here? Because I think he's only beaten them once, and it was the time where they had to go for it on 4th down multiple times in order to win the game. So we'll see. We'll see what the Ravens can do against the Chiefs. And also, will their defense be good without Mike Macdonald? I'm not so certain about that. I think Mike Macdonald was very good. So now he's in Seattle. So we'll see. We'll see what they can do defensively. As for the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs might have a Super Bowl hangover, might not. I'm kind of iffy on it because they didn't really have a Super Bowl hangover last year. Sorry, just fixing the camera. But we'll see. And even if they lose this game, are we not going to just predict for them to go to the AFC Championship game? Like, they lost the first game last year and still made it to the Super Bowl and still won the Super Bowl. So I don't know. This team it's very hard to predict against the Chiefs, in my opinion. Do their players still care? It's so hard to get out of bed, especially after winning, and they won back-to-back Super Bowls. So, do they really want the three-peat as badly as we kind of assume that they do? We'll see. And defensively, I have some questions, especially in their secondary. They lost Snead in their secondary, so I don't know. I just have a couple of questions. I'm sure the Chiefs will answer it in this game. That's why I do have the Chiefs winning this game. I got the Chiefs 31, Ravens 24. I find it very difficult to bet against Patrick Mahomes. So as of right now, I got the Chiefs in this one. And moving over to Friday night football, we do have the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles. So for the Packers, they have to start stronger than last year. I think if they can start strong, I think this team might be able to make some noise. Is Jordan Love the guy? I think he might be. He played really well at the end of last year and in the playoffs, but I don't know. I'm kind of iffy. We'll see. We'll see what Jordan Love's got for sure. I think the run game does worry me a little bit. I'm just not sure who they've got after I believe it was AJ Dillon. He got injured, so I'm not convinced in their run game. So if Jordan Love is going to have to carry them, can he do that? I guess we're going to have to see. As for the Eagles, what does Saquon Barkley have left? And you're gonna find a lot of these similar questions between a lot of these teams because it's the first game of the season. I have lots of questions. We haven't seen anybody actually play, so I'm going to ask a lot of the same questions. So Saquon, what does he have left? He left the Giants. Is he going to be able to carry here? We're going to see. Is Jalen Hurts the guy? I think Jalen Hurts really struggled at the end of last season, but I still think he can do a lot of great things. As long as you're not asking too much of him, I think Jalen Hurts can definitely get you there. And defensively, I have lots of questions as well. They've lost a lot of players. Their depth just isn't what I think it should be, and they were on a very long losing streak at the end of last season. So I'm just very concerned about the Eagles team. That being said, I still do have the Eagles winning this game. I think the Eagles can still get it together, in my opinion. So I do have the Eagles winning this game 27, Packers 20. This one's a kind of a toss-up for me. This one could go either way. Whoop, that's a text message. We're going to ignore that right now. But moving over to the first early window game on Sunday, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. So for the Steelers, what does Russ have left? Is he still... Can he produce what he did in Seattle? We didn't see any of that in Denver, but I think that might have been kind of the situation he was put in. Just from the preseason, I still wasn't blown away by Russ, so we'll see how long he's the starter, because I do expect, what's his name? Justin Fields. I expect Justin Fields to become the starter at some point, unfortunately, because I like Russ. The Seahawk homer in me still likes Russ, so we'll see. I think their defense will be as good as usual. No question there. TJ Watt. I think they have a lot of great things in their defense, and I think their run game has to be a factor. Is Najee Harris the long-term solution at the running back position for this team? We're gonna find out very soon. As for the Falcons, how will Kirk Cousins be after his Achilles tear? Achilles tear is a rough injury, and it's difficult to come back from. So we'll see what he's got, and we'll see if he can replicate what he was doing in Minnesota with this Falcon team. And there's a lot of talk on Bijan Robinson. I've heard a lot of people saying that he's going to step up. He's going to be one of the people running for MVP this year. So I don't know, or excuse me, not just MVP, but like Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know. I'm not sold on Bijan Robinson. I wasn't really sold on him coming out of college either. So I might just be the skeptic in me. So I'm happy to be proven wrong. So we'll see what Bijan's got. Is Kyle Pitts an elite level tight end? I'm not too certain about that one. He was so hyped coming out of college as well, but I'm just not sold yet. And this one's gonna be a little bit of a toss-up. Sorry about that. And we are back with the final prediction. I do have the Falcons winning this game. I got the Falcons 21, Steelers 20. I'm just more sold on what the Falcons can do offensively as opposed to the Steelers. So this one's kind of a toss-up as well. So this one could go either way for me. And moving on ahead, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills. I think the Cardinals will surprise some people in a lot of their games this season. But is Kyler Murray the guy? I'm not too convinced at this time. So we'll see what he can do. He definitely has a lot to do for this team. But I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will help him a lot. But what does James Conner have left? I'm not too convinced that James Conner is a long-term solution here. I like James Conner as a person, just from the things I've seen of him off the field. But when I see him on the field, he has like one or two really good games a season, and that's kind of it. So we'll see. And defensively, they just kind of have a lot of no names, like a lot of people that are just unproven, and just don't have that hype built up on them, especially losing Budda Baker, and I think there was another player that they lost, but I just have some questions defensively. As for the Buffalo Bills, they have so many injuries, especially in their defense. I'm not convinced this team is gonna make the playoffs, in my opinion. I think Josh Allen will have to be Superman, and you guys know how I feel about Josh Allen being Superman. It hardly ever works out for them, and I think they need to feed Keon Coleman early, figure out if he is a number one wide receiver for them, and we will see what they can do from there. I do have the Cardinals winning this one. I got the Cardinals 24, Bills 21. Like I said, I'm just not convinced on the Bills. I expect Josh Allen to try to carry this team very, very hard, and it to kind of blow up in his face more often than not. Moving on to the next game, we do have the Tennessee Titans at the Chicago Bears, the Fighting Caleb Williamses. So we'll see what this team's got, man. As for the Titans, is Will Levis the guy? I don't know. I'm not convinced. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I think his first game as an NFL starter, he was phenomenal. We were all blown away, thought he was the guy, and then they missed the playoffs and just kind of fizzled out into nothingness. So we'll see what they've got. How will they be without Henry? Because I think Derrick Henry took a lot of pressure off of Will Levis. So I think he's gonna have even more pressure on him now, both on the field and mentally. So we'll see. And defensively, they have a lot of veterans, and that can be a good thing and a bad thing. They have a lot of like veteran mentality, but they're also kind of old body wise. So we'll see what they got. They have two former Seahawk starting safeties. So we'll see what they can do there. As for the Bears, is Caleb Williams the guy? I'll be the first to say it. I'm not convinced quite yet. I think coming out of college, he is so overhyped. So we're going to see what he can do. I'm totally ready to be wrong about Caleb Williams, but as of right now, I'm very, very just on the fence about him. Offensively, I don't think offense should be an issue for this team whatsoever. I think from Roma Dunze to what is his name, Keenan Allen, I think they have a lot of good pieces on offense for Caleb Williams. And I wish they had these damn pieces when Justin Fields was there, because I still like Justin Fields, and I think he could have been very serviceable for these guys. But I think they think Caleb Williams is the next coming of, so we'll see what they've got. Defensively, especially their defensive line, I think they should be top 10 on paper. They look very good, very ferocious, and I think this team is built to win now. So we will see. As of right now, I do have the Bears winning this game. I'm not convinced on the Titans whatsoever, so I do have the Bears winning this game. 31, Titans 20. Moving over to our next game, we do have the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. So for the Patriots, who's going to make plays for this team offensively? Is it going to be Jacoby Brissett? Can he sneak out some wins? I'm not too certain about that. I'm not convinced on Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a game manager, but in my opinion, kind of a low-tier game manager. So we'll see what he's got. I think their defense should still be decent. If Christian Gonzalez can come back and still be as productive as he was last year, I think defensively they should be all right. As for the Bengals, Joe Burrow is back from injury. Will the injury hamper him? I sure hope not. I love Joe Burrow. He is my pick to win MVP this season. I really, really like Joe Burrow, and I hope he can lead this team to the promised land for sure. Will Jamar Chase play? I have not seen any reports that saying that if it's confirmed if he's going to hold out or not. They say they're playing it day to day, so we'll see. They need Jamar Chase to play for sure, because even T. Higgins, he barely wants to be there. So both your top two wide receivers are up in the air at the moment, so it's kind of just tough. I don't think offense should be an issue with this team. If they just pay the guys that they need to pay, I think this team should be pretty decent, except the run game gives me a little bit of question. But I don't believe in the Patriots whatsoever. I do have the Bengals winning this game. Bengals 27, Patriots 17. I'll be shocked if the Patriots score more than 17 points, so we'll see. Next game, we do have the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. I think everybody's hyped on the Texans right now. Texans are they look super good. So can CJ Stroud replicate last season? We'll see. I'm still very high on CJ, but last season was very, very good for him. So a lot of these teams will have learned, I hope, and they will give him a little bit more trouble. But I still think CJ will step up to the plate, and I still expect him to be phenomenal. What does Joe Mixon have left? He left Cincinnati, and now he's here with the Texans, and I don't expect him to have to do too much. Because I still think he's going to be pretty decent. He'll be serviceable, and we'll see. And over to Stephon Diggs. When will he be a problem? Because he's been a problem in every place he's been at so far. So when will he start to become, and I hate saying the word diva, but it's kind of, for a lack of a better word, when will he become a diva? If and when. As for the Colts, how's Anthony Richardson's shoulder? I saw him in the preseason, and I was not impressed. I was very worried about him, if anything. It just does not look like it's fully recovered, or it doesn't look like he has enough practice on that shoulder quite yet. So we'll see. Maybe as the season goes on, he'll be performing a little bit better. What about Jonathan Taylor? What does he have left? He's kind of getting up there in age. I know he's still relatively young, but he's getting up there, So we'll see what he's got left. As for the defense, I still think they should be decent, but we'll see what they got. I do have the Texans winning this game. Texans 27, Colts 20. I think the Texans are going to own this division for the next few years, in my opinion, with I think probably Jacksonville being the only team that can contend with them in this division. But as of right now, I got the Texans winning this game 27, Colts 20. Moving over to the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Miami Dolphins. Jacksonville. Is Trevor Lawrence the guy? I'm not really convinced. I watch a lot of First Things First, and Nick Wright is so high on Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, and I'm just not there. Not there whatsoever. I think Trevor Lawrence is... he leaves a lot to be desired, and I think he was really good in college, but I just haven't seen it in the NFL. And I know he's won one playoff game, but I think he threw 4 picks in that game. So I don't know. I don't know when he's gonna step forward and be that guy. I don't think a lack of weapons is an issue for this offense. I think they have a lot of great pieces, and I think they can do a lot of stuff. and it all kind of just depends on Trevor Lawrence. So we'll see what he's got for sure. And I think their defense is really good on paper. Trayvon Walker, he's on this team, and I expect good things from this team defensively, but their offense just leaves me with a lot of questions for sure. As for the Dolphins, I think offensively they should thrive. I think their offense should be really good. I'm kind of worried about their defense a little bit, but I think it has a lot of the right pieces. They just have to kind of put it together. They have a lot of injuries. Just from when I was looking at their depth chart, they had a lot of people questionable, a couple of guys out. So we'll see what they can do. And I think the time is now for this team. If they don't step it up now, I don't think they ever will. And I don't think Tua will be able to carry them if they can't step it up this year. So I do have the Dolphins winning this game. I got the Dolphins 30, Jaguars 24. This one's a little bit of a toss-up for me, but I still think the Dolphins should handle business in this game. Our next game is the Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. So for the Panthers, is Bryce Young the guy? I'm not sure. His last preseason game, he showed a little bit more to me, but we'll see. I know it was just preseason, but we'll see what Bryce Young's got this year. I think their O-line is improved, but is it good? I know they got Damian Lewis from the Seahawks. They have a couple other additional pieces, but I think Chuba Hubbard, can he propel this team, especially with this offensive line? We'll see, because I think Bryce Young, he needs help. He needs a lot of help. So we'll see if this team's built for that this year. As for the Saints, I'm not sure why it popped up like that, but what does Derek Carr have left? Is he going to be able to step up? Does he have anything left at this point? I'm not too convinced. Same with Alvin Kamara. I'm just not sure he's got anything left at this point, but I don't think they have any other options for the Saints. And I think Chris Olave, he needs to replicate his rookie year, because his rookie year, I had him on fantasy, and he carried me all the way to my championship. It was very nice. I think he needs to try and go back to being that player where he is a major deep threat, and he has for sure surefire hands. So we'll see. And this might be my first upset pick. I do have the Panthers winning this game. I got the Panthers 24, Saints 23. This one could go either way, but as of right now, I'm leading the Panthers. Alrighty, moving over to our next game, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. So for the Vikings, I don't trust Sam Darnold. I've seen him in a lot of different places. I saw him in college, and I was never convinced on him, and I'm still not convinced on him. I don't trust Sam Darnold, unfortunately, and I just don't see him being the long-term solution for this team, and it really sucks that their rookie quarterback got injured. So we'll see. We'll see what his team can put together. I think Aaron Jones, I think he's a good addition to this team, but I'm just not sure he can carry this team. So that's why I have questions there. I think Justin Jefferson will need to be Superman in order for this team to be very, very good. I think he's kind of just stuck right now on this team, and it really sucks because I just don't see them being a win now mode, especially with their rookie quarterback injured. As for the Giants, I'm not sure which version of Daniel Jones we're going to get. Daniel Jones just leaves a lot to be desired, and I'm just not sure he has the confidence left because the Giants have not instilled that confidence in him. So I'm just not sure what confidence he has left if he thinks that he can be the long-term solution for this team. I think the run game leaves a lot to be desired. With Saquon leaving, they just don't have anybody of note that I would consider very serviceable, in my opinion. So I just don't expect this. I don't expect too much from him, from their run game. As for Malik Neighbors, is he overhyped? I know they unretired a jersey number for him as a rookie, and I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust or anything like that. By no means am I saying that. Is he a little overhyped? Are we putting the carriage before the horse here? Maybe a little bit. Even me saying that, I do have the Giants winning this game. I got the Giants 20, Vikings 17. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings don't win a game for the first probably month and a half of the season. Moving over to our late window games, we do have the Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers. For the Raiders, are we going to see some Minshew magic? I'm kind of interested to see if Minshew can do anything for this team. Gardner Minshew reminds me a lot of Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he's a journeyman. He goes to all these different teams and does a lot of different things. So we'll see if Minshew has what it takes to help this team win some games. I think their run game worries me. No Josh Jacobs anymore, and they don't have anybody of note for me on this team in the run game. And I think Devontae Adams is going to need to carry them, but what does he have left? He's kind of getting up there in age, so I'm not sure if Devontae Adams can carry them, but we'll see. As for the Chargers, I think Justin Herbert, it's now or never. If he's not going to be good now, when is he going to be good? And I think Jim Harbaugh is going to get as much out of him as he can. So we'll see. And I think their run game does worry me a lot. But Jim Harbaugh loves the run game. So we'll see if they can figure it out in the run game. And I'm just not sure who Justin Herbert's going to throw to. They've kind of got a lot of nobodies on their team. Just a lot of players that we haven't seen play, or a lot of players that we just haven't seen be good, in my opinion, just for a lack of a better way to put it. So we'll see what this team can do. This one can go either way for me, but as of right now, I do have the Chargers winning 24, Raiders 23. Yeah, this one's a toss-up for sure. And moving over to Seattle, the Denver Broncos at my Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see. So for the Broncos, can Bo Nix carry this team? I really like Bo Nix, and I really wanted my Seahawks to draft Bo Nix, but he was gone by the time we were getting ready to draft, so that's okay. Well, no harm, no foul. We'll be fine. I think their run game needs to be established early, because I think the Seahawks defense can't stop the run this year, and hold on. We'll get to the Seahawks in a minute. They need to establish the run game very early. I think their defense could struggle. They've lost a lot of guys on defense, and they have a lot of unproven, no-name guys on their defense at this time. So we'll see what they can do. I'm not very convinced on the Broncos this year, though. As for my Seahawks, I think our defense should be really good. I was, and I know it's preseason, and I'm overhyping myself to be disappointed later, but I really like the way we played in the preseason, and I expect our defense to be serviceable. And I think with Mike McDonald's first game as head coach, I think we can do this. I think we can beat the Broncos, and I think we have all the right pieces offensively. Geno, DK, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Noah Fant, like those are all studs in my opinion. So I think the Seahawks should win this game. I got the Seahawks 20, Broncos 13. I wouldn't be surprised if we started to get a resemblance, not an exact copy by any means, but of the later years of what the Seahawks Legion of Boom was looking like, where they were still being able to stop teams. They weren't like the best defense of all time at that point, but they were still decent. So we'll see. I do have the Seahawks winning 20, Broncos 13. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys at the Cleveland Browns. So for the Cowboys, will the defense regress without Dan Quinn? I kind of expect them to. Not saying Dan Quinn was the messiah or anything of this team, but he definitely got a lot out of this defense. And I think there will be a lot of questions after this first game, or a lot of questions will be answered after this first game. I think their run game will be a non-factor. Zeke Elliott, Deuce Vaughn, Dalvin Cook, just a lot of two old-ass guys. And just, I'm not convinced the run game will be good whatsoever, in my opinion. Will CD play? He's on this weird, commissioner's exempt list. So I'm not even sure if he's going to dress or play for this game. But if he does, great. They really, really need him. But if not, I think this team will struggle. As for the Browns, I think this is the last chance for Deshaun Watson. I think they will cut ties after this year if he struggles, if he plays poorly. So it's now or never, Deshaun. Get your head out of your ass. I think the run game will be an issue. They lost both of their running backs, and I'm just not convinced that this team will be able to run the ball like they have in years past. And I think their defense will be as good as always, but I don't think they're going to be good offensively whatsoever. They're going to struggle to score points. They're going to struggle to maintain and sustain drives. So as of right now, I do have the Cowboys winning this game. Cowboys 24, Browns 17. This one's kind of a toss-up for me just because I'm not convinced on either of these teams at this time. Moving on to the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Commanders are going to surprise some people, in my opinion. Is Jaden Daniels ready to step up and be an NFL starter? I'm not sure. but I'm kind of excited. I think he's going to resemble a lot of what Cam Newton was doing, and I'm very hyped on Jaden Daniels and the possibility of what he can do. I think their run game has a little bit of question, but I think their wide receivers, just from when I was looking at them on their depth chart, they look very good. Their run game leaves a little bit to be desired, but I think the Commanders can be serviceable this year, and I do expect them to win some games. As for the Buccaneers, is Baker Mayfield the long-term solution at quarterback? I like Baker, especially coming out of college. I was hyped on Baker. Did not expect him to go number 1 overall, but I like Baker, and I'm kind of worried that he might get the short end of the stick again. So we'll see. Their run game gives me some pause. They don't have like a notable number 1 running back on this team. And I think this team would have been a really good spot for Derrick Henry to go to. I think he would have played very well for this team. But as of right now, I'm just not convinced on their run game. I think their defense should still be decent. Their defensive line is still pretty good, and we will see what their secondary can do. But as of right now, I do have the Commanders winning this game. This one's kind of an upset pick for me. I do have the Commanders 23, Buccaneers 20. This one could go either way, but as of right now, I do have the Commanders winning this one. All right, and now we are on to Sunday Night Football. It is the LA Rams at the Detroit Lions. So for the Rams, what does Matthew Stafford have left? Can he elevate this team to get them into the postseason? Maybe. I think he can. But can he get them to another Super Bowl? That one's a little iffy for me. So we'll see. Kyren Williams gives me some pause. I've seen a lot of his footage, and just leaves a lot to be desired. So we'll see what he can do. I do expect the rookie Blake Corum. I expect him to get a lot of action, and a lot of action early. And I expect him to be the full-time starter by the end of the season. So we'll see what Blake Corum can do. How will the defense be without Aaron Donald? See, Aaron Donald was taking double teams pretty much his entire career. So now Aaron Donald isn't on their defensive line anymore. So we'll see what they can do. And don't forget, Aaron Donald was the reason they won that Super Bowl. He was the reason they won that Super Bowl. He got that defensive stop at the end. And without that, they don't win that Super Bowl. So you lose that veteran leader, that absolute leader of the team. So we'll see what they can do. As for the Lions have a lot of hype. Might be overhyped, in my opinion. I'm not saying they are, but they might be. There's just been so much talk. Everybody's giving them, heaping so much praise on them. It might go to their heads a little bit. They might get a little flabbergasted and not be able to match that hype. We'll see. I think this team needs to feed Jahmyr Gibbs. I loved Jahmyr Gibbs last year, and you guys heard how much praise I was giving Jahmyr Gibbs last year. I think they need to continue to feed Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think this team will be very, very good. I think their defense needs to explode. Their defensive line is really good. They need to just chase after the quarterback constantly. I'm very optimistic on the Lions, and I think they have potential to go all the way, but I do have the Rams winning this game. I got the Rams 27, Lions 24. This one is a very, very toss-up game for me. But as of right now, I get the Rams 27, Lions 24. Now over to Monday Night Football. Also, tremendous game. We could not have asked for a better game. I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, everybody stays healthy this year. We do have the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. So for the Jets, what does Aaron Rodgers have left? Is he going to be the same guy after this Achilles tear? Is he going to be the same guy mentally? I'm not sure. I think he talks too much, and I'm just not convinced on Aaron Rodgers anymore. I just don't see it. I don't see it anymore, and I'm kind of done with it. Can they lean on Breece Hall? I think Breece Hall is serviceable, and I think he can be very good, but I'm not convinced quite yet. So we'll see what Breece Hall can do. Can the defense replicate what they did last season? I think if we can get the exact same defense that they had last season with Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall both healthy, I think this team can make a lot of noise. A lot of noise. As for the 49ers, they re-signed Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk, so I expect this team to be very good. I wish they'd re-signed them before I made my predictions, because I probably would have picked the Niners to go back to the NFC Championship game, barring any injuries. 49er fans, I know you hate me. I know you hate me for my comments about I expect them to be more injured than they were last year because they were that. And guess who agreed with me? Greg Jennings, Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes, everybody on first things first. They said the exact same shit I did, but I got flack for it for some reason. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. 49er fan hate me. Anyway, is Brock Purdy the guy? I'm not sure. I'm still not convinced. I'm not at this point. I'm not sure what he can do to convince me besides, MVP and a Super Bowl. And I know that's not fair. So I think Brock Purdy is definitely, as of right now, he's a top 12 guy. He's a top 12 quarterback in this league, and power to him for sure. I think this he is definitely a product of the situation that he's in, but I can't really fault him for that. But I do still think Christian McCaffrey, this is his team. I think this team goes and flows as Christian McCaffrey does. If he stays healthy, I think this team will thrive and make a deep playoff run like they always do. So we will see. And of course, I don't have the Jets winning this game. I got the 49ers 27, Jets 20. Oh, 49er fans, why do you hate me? Oh, that's my follower goal. So come follow me on Twitch. But thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait for the rest of the season. It's going to be a great year. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next week in week 2.